Hi again, welcome back. This is part 3 of my cake flavor of the month, which is banana cake layers with banana cream cheese frosting. And I'm going to show you a really elegant but simple way to decorate this cake. So we will get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I want to just tint this buttercream just a very, very light yellow. So I'm just gonna put this on low and I'm just gonna start with 1 drop. And 1 drop is going to be perfect. That's exactly what I'm going for. That is just right. That's the color that I wanted. Just a really pale yellow. Gel food coloring goes a long way. It's much better than the liquid stuff you get in the supermarket. That's no good. And then something also to note about food gels is the colors will kind of deepen over the next 20 or 30 minutes. Just be aware of that. Now, since I'm only using 1 color of buttercream for this cake, I don't need to put it in a piping bag to pipe it on. I'm just gonna pull it straight out of the bowl. And always, always, always give your buttercream a good stir before any time you use it, before every single application, even if it's only been sitting for a minute. You just wanna get as many air bubbles out as you can. So before we get started, just to show you, I have my cake drum. I put masking tape on the bottom to hold it down. And then I have my little 6-inch cake round that I put on top of that. And I'm going to put a little dab of buttercream to kind of secure the cake down. And then it does still slide around, so just in the freezer for like 3 minutes. Okay, while that's sitting in the freezer, let's talk about this decorative element that we're going to put on top. This is so fun. It looks so complicated, but it's so easy, and I love doing these. So I decided to go with the pink flower on top. I think that'll look really cute with the yellow. So I have in here candy melts. Candy melts are pre-tempered chocolate. You don't have to worry about them tempering them. They will solidify and harden on their own. So I've got these colored candy melts, and I'm just going to melt them in the microwave. I start with a minute and then I add 30 seconds until they're fully melted. Okay, while that's melting, I'll show you this. I have a piping bag and I've cut a very small hole in the bottom of that, and then I just put it in the cup. It's just easier to get the chocolate in there. And then you will need an offset spatula. However, if you don't have one of these, a spoon or even a butter knife will work. Okay, I've got my chocolate melted. Here's a tip. If you find that your candy melts are kind of grainy and not melting really well, add like a tablespoon of coconut oil. That will just help it melt all the way and get nice and smooth and then harden back up. Okay, but I didn't have a problem with these today. So I'm just gonna pour this in. Tricky. You have to turn it upside down because it will run out. Just twist it where you're holding it. And I'm going to make about dime size little drops. I'm gonna just do like 2 rows at a time. You're gonna wanna stagger them. Don't do them too close together. I'll show you why. Stick that back in the glass. And then you get this, and you're just gonna pull. Just gently pull the chocolate, and we are making our petals for the flower. Only do 2 rows at a time. That chocolate solidifies quickly, and you wanna be able to still have it melted to pull it into the petals. Okay, this will go in your freezer, I don't know, 10-15 minutes until they're completely solidified. Okay, we're ready to start building this cake. I actually got some mini vanilla wafers. because I think it goes well with the banana, and you can put them in between the layers on top of the buttercream if you want. It's just optional. So I'm gonna start by spreading kind of a thin layer, because I am gonna put some vanilla wafers on, and then I'm gonna put a little bit more frosting on top of that, just so the next layer adheres to it. And these will soften up a little bit and just taste so good. There we go. Get my next cake layer. I just get eye level with it to make sure it's lined up this way, and repeat. I do work with frozen cake layers. For me, it's just the easiest. A lot of bakers work with them just chilled in the fridge. That's fine too, but they need to be chilled. Never ever work with warm cake layers, or you will have problems. That's why I always make my cake layers at least a day in advance, sometimes longer. And they will stay perfectly fresh in your freezer, wrapped well. Always turn the last cake layer over so the bottom side is up, and that's gonna give you the nice flat edge. Okay, now I'm going to crumb coat this just by doing a thin layer on the outside. This just seals in all the crumbs, so your outer coat is nice and smooth. I did not use dowels in this one because I don't have a filling where the layers would slide around. It's pretty stable, it's pretty solid. So, and only 3 layers, I just don't feel it's necessary for this one. I'm gonna run my cake scraper all the way around, and then I'm gonna use the buttercream on here to patch in any just really big holes. This crumb coat does not need to be perfect. All you're doing is sealing in the crumbs. There we go. Easy as that. There's my crumb coat. And I will just level off the top. And then this goes in the freezer for at least 10 minutes before we do the outer coat. Okay, I'm gonna pop this in the freezer. While that's freezing, I'm going to move on to my next step for the flour. I have a piping bag, and inside I have the Wilton 1M piping tip. And I'm just going to fold this down over my hand, and we just need enough to do a rope border around the top. 2 or 3 big spoonfuls. Yeah, that's gonna work. About that full to do the rope border. I'm gonna set that aside. All right, this has been in my freezer for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to put on the outer coat. Give my buttercream a good stir. And I'm going to cover up that cake board on the bottom with my outer coat. I don't do that with the crumb coat, just the outer coat. Don't forget to give your buttercream a good stir before using it, but I will show you how I get the air bubbles out. There's always gonna be air bubbles. It's another very commonly asked question. How do you get your buttercream so smooth on the sides? And I will show you. See, that's a mess. That's a mess, but I'm gonna clean it up. My cake scraper, go on the outside of that board, and we're just gonna pull it around. And you will see that it's not even close to perfect, right? See all those holes? I mean, it's just a mess, okay? But don't panic, because I'm gonna just keep working with it, and you'll see how it eventually just kind of cleans itself up. So I'm gonna get my buttercream, and I'm just going to start patching all these big holes. Okay, then I get a new scraper and do it again. Don't press too hard, but you do want firm, even pressure. See, already it's just cleaning right up. And just each time it just gets a little bit better until you are happy with it. Oh, I like it. I think that's good. We're gonna leave that just like that. Now, the top is going to be completely covered in the rope border and the flower, so the top doesn't matter what it looks like. I'm gonna pop this in the freezer for just 5 minutes, show you how I clean up my cake board, and we'll just do the finishing touches. Okay, let's add the finishing touches to this cake. First, I'm gonna kind of clean up my board a little bit. I'll just get a spatula, and that frosting is pretty frozen, so it's easy to scrape off. Just go right up to the edge of the cake, and then I'm actually gonna get my rag, clean rag, wipe off the board, and then I will get the rag over the spatula and just get right up to the edge, get it nice and clean. Okay, and then you can get like your pinky finger and just barely smooth it around. Okay, perfect. Now, for today, I'm just gonna put some whole cookies around the bottom, but it would also be really fun to crush them up in a blender and just kind of press them into the side here. I'm just gonna find the pretty round ones and just put them along the bottom. Press them lightly into the side because you're probably gonna have to adjust them when you go around. Now, the best part, the most fun part. Rope border and then the flower. Okay, I gotta make sure my hands are dry. Okay, so for the rope border, you're just gonna turn and swirl. And when you get to where you can't squeeze anymore, stop at the bottom and then just pick it right back up. Oh, so close, so close. There's our rope border, and that's gonna give our flower petals a little bit of support. Save this, you're going to need a little bit more. Let's take these flower petals out. You need to work kind of quickly. You don't want these to get too soft to work with, but I'm going to, I forgot, I'm gonna pipe a little ring right here in the middle. And then I'm gonna get my biggest ones first, and I'm just gonna kind of press them in so it lays down against the rope border, if you can see that. And we're just gonna go all the way around. If it's too long, just gently break off the bottom little. There we go. Oh, there, perfect. Then I'll get a little bit more buttercream, just pipe another ring, and you do the next inner layer. One more little one. You could stop there, but I think I'm gonna do just one more. Wow, yeah. Yeah, let's go around one more time. I kind of will make them a little shorter. The right size. That's gonna work. There. Now, if you want to just finish off with some coordinating sprinkles in the middle, that just gives it the perfect, and kind of press it down. And there's our center of the flower. There we go. A trick I learned for hand placing the sprinkles is you just get your finger wet on a clean towel and you can pick up these little jimmies and place them on very carefully. But I just wanted to add a little bit of color down here. You could omit the cookies altogether and just put sprinkles on the bottom. Just however you want to do it. There's no right way or wrong way to do this. That turned out really cute. Okay, one more little placement there. There, I love it. Okay. All right, doesn't that look so pretty? It looks complicated. It's so easy, and I would love to see you give it a try. You can share your pictures with me on my Instagram, which is @neuroticmom, and tag me if you post this, if you try this, and then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more tutorials like this one.